Hey, it's Coach Carol, and I wanted to chat with you today about something that I'm hearing fairly often, but husbands who think that, yeah, the work that Coach Carol teaches, or that the wife just can't make changes on her own that are actually going to sustain and make any real difference long term. Like, in other words, even if she gets coaching, even if she's changing and making herself better, yay for her, but too little, too late. Potentially, or he's halfway out the door, looking at apartments, that sort of thing. So here's what I want you to know. I wasn't sure it was going to work either. But when I went all in and got coaching support and really worked on myself, miracles happened. Miracles happened. I don't know if you can see where I'm walking here by the lake with my deputy dog. Daisy, say hi. Daisy, say hi. Okay, so I would not be living at the lake right now. It's a total miracle that my husband and I were separated with a restraining order. That is just how volatile our house was and how much anger there was in our home. We had pretty much fought for 26 years. 26 years, all right? And that's all changed. And it's all changed so much that when I expressed a desire to live at the lake, something that was just a childhood dream of mine, my husband doesn't even like the water. He doesn't swim. Okay? It's my dream. It's my thing. My husband was all for it. And our life has gotten better and better. Is it perfect? No, we're human. We still have emotions, all that stuff, right? Family junk and whatnot that happens. But it's sure better than being divorced and having a broken family. So I got my favorite sweatshirt on. M-O-G, mother of the groom. I got to be mother of the groom. Of course I would have anyways, right? But I was there together when our oldest son got married last year, so that we were both there as a couple. No step parents involved. My parents divorced when I was a senior in high school. My brother was a freshman in college. And we had brokenness for the next 45 years till my mom passed away, because both of my parents remarried, and they both still had a lot of pain about their divorce, because I believe that they still loved each other, but they just didn't know how to make it work, right? And so both of my parents actually said, they told me not long before my mom died, that was only a couple years after my husband and I got back together, that had they known there was another way, they would have done it, because they never imagined the pain that it was going to cost my brother and I over the next 40 years, right? Because one or the other always stayed away from birthdays. We got my brother and I got married, right? We had kids. They skipped first communions. They skipped Christmas. Like, we always had to have double Christmases, triple, right? Because then I had in-laws too. So it sucked, frankly. And it was really hard on my brother and I. And so they didn't realize, they bought into the lie when they were going through the pain of their own marriage and thought there was no hope, even though they tried counselors, even though they went to Al-Anon, things like that. It didn't work. And so there was none of these skills back then. So they bought into the lie that, well, if we get divorced, the kids will be all right. It'll all work out. We weren't. We weren't. And we still have stuff, baggage from those days. Okay? Now, do my kids not have baggage? Yeah, they do. Because honestly, I found this work when one was still one was in college. No, he would have been like in middle school, maybe high school when I first found it. But none of my friends supported the idea. They're like, reading a book called The Surrendered Wife? No way, we're not surrendering to our husbands. And so my book went on my shelf, even though I knew it was a really good idea. So 10 years later, the work came back into my life. And this time I felt like this is an obedience issue. God was saying, you need to do this. You need to try this. Okay, so I resisted, and I actually thought, nah, it's not really going to work. But I'll do it, because in the end, I'll be able to tell my husband that, or be able to tell the kids that it really was their dad's. It was all their dad's fault. Now, was part of it their dad's fault? Yes. Was it part of my fault? Yes. Were we both missing key skills to make a relationship work? Yes. Did it mean that he had to go to more counselors? Because God knows I dragged him to a ton of them. We did Retrovi, we went to the priest, we went to so many programs, including an anger management program. We did it all. Did any of it stick? No. And so When I found this, it was like, all right, God, sense of humor, I'll try. But when I went all in and started changing me, it did work. It did work. And we celebrated 34 years this year. Praise be to God. We now live at the lake, my dream, and we just built a log cabin. As I keep walking, I'll take a picture of the cabin. I'll insert that, but we just built a log cabin as well. And like, we have another son getting married in September, and we'll be able to be there as a couple, not as, you know, divorced with pain or one of us skipping. It's painful. It hurts, right? What if there's a way out of that pain? And it doesn't mean that husbands have to go to counseling anymore and don't have to do a whole lot of work. What if the wife really is doing something that can transform it all? What if the husband actually decides to trust it? Trust it. What have you got to lose? Well, a whole lot of pain for your kids, all right? Yeah. And ongoing pain for the two of you. What if there could be healing? What if sex could be better than ever, your relationship could totally be better than ever, and that you're creating a future like this, okay? Give it a try, guys. Give it a try. Instead of shooting her down and telling her it's too little too late, maybe this is something that very few women are actually brave enough to do, and maybe, just maybe, she's one of the most bravest women out there in the world who's really being so humble and willing to look at herself and make big, big changes. What if it does last forever? You won't know till you let her try, and until you're willing to try with her. If you're willing to humble yourself and trust it. To me, this is a chance for like the greatest success of your life or the greatest miss in your life. Now, most guys are pretty darn competitive. So I'm going to invite you to be competitive, all right? Give this a try. Trust her, all right? Feel free to message me. I'm happy to talk with you. But this works. It works. So if your wife is not in the Happy Wife community and has not connected with me and my group of amazing, amazing, amazing women, send her on over. The Happy Wife community. And if she is, and she's doing this work, encourage her. All right? Go easy. Give her grace. Just love her. Love her. Love yourself. Okay, here's our little bungalow. Our little lake log cabin that we just built. And then down here, across the street, on the water, with our sailboats and our kayaks, is our little lake camp. So we have both. And so my prayer had been that we would have a little shallow beach, which we do. It's a bit of a mess right now. This is spring. It hasn't been cleaned up yet. But then we have a very shallow sandy beach for grandchildren. So there's my dream. There's my dream. And it never, ever would have happened had I not done this work. We would be divorced. We would be. But instead, I now have an abundance of houses. 2. So, don't give up on your wife. Don't give up on your marriage. Don't give up on your family. Stay focused on your dreams and what's possible. All right? So, I'm Coach Carol, and I am standing boldly for marriage and all of your dreams as you create a life together. It can happen. It can happen.